Thank you for doing this.
You bet, you bet.
And it's great to see you.
All right, you ready?
Okay, ready.
All right, I'll cue you when to start.
Hi, everybody. It's Randi Weingarten. And I am double vaxxed. And we've just gotten CDC new regulations that say that when we're outside and double vaxxed, we can take our masks off, which I am now doing. And I know that anyone who's been double vaxxed with us right now are doing the same. And we say that on this Workers' Memorial Day because we also want to make sure that people know that the vaccines are safe and effective, and they're game changers for so many of us who yearn to get back to some level of normalcy and a level of where we can be with people again. But today, this April 28th, which is always International Workers' Memorial Day, it takes on special significance and resonance because of so many people within our union who we have loved and lost because of their work on the front lines, trying to not only fight COVID, but to help make a difference in the lives of so many others. A transportation worker, nurses, teachers, paraprofessionals. We're honoring them today in front of an AFT memorial sign where we say their names and we see their names. And one of the people who this year has been there so much, and this is what happens in terms of Washington. We have lots of people who are struggling each and every day. This is where we are in terms of our nation. So what we are doing today is we are honoring the people that we've loved and lost. And one of the people who have seen this firsthand in so many different ways, someone who is always out there fighting for workers, someone we watched spectacularly doing the work of the people's business in trying to fight for democracy while he was suffering and mourning his own loss of his beloved son, Tommy, is Representative Jamie Raskin from the great state of Maryland. Let me turn it over to Jamie for a few words.
Randi, thank you so much. I'm delighted to be with Randi Weingarten and all my friends at AFT. It's a sad, bittersweet thing to be here for the commemoration and I guess the permanent installation of this memorial to all of these great AFT members who gave their lives in service of their communities and in service of our country. And that's teachers, that's nurses, that's transit workers, that's people in different places in the government. And they are a microcosm of the more than 500,000 Americans that have been lost in the nightmare of COVID-19 amid the lethal recklessness of the last administration, which demonstrated what happens when you don't take government seriously. But I'm happy to say that we are turning the government again into an instrument of public safety, an instrument of the public interest, an instrument of the common good. So let us hope we will never see the kind of terrible, reckless waste of human life that we saw under COVID-19 when America led the world in case count, it led the world in death count, and it led the world in COVID-19 disinformation and propaganda. But I'm thrilled to be with my friends at AFT who are not going to let the memory of these people be in vain. They will continue to fight for safety in the workplace for all workers across America, whether they are in public workplaces or private workplaces, making sure that the workplace is safe for our brothers and sisters and mothers and fathers and children to go to work. So thank you, Randi, for everything you do every day for America's working people.
Thank you. Thank you, Representative Raskin. Thank you, our friend Jamie. And thank you for everything that you do to help actually make sure we have a middle class in America. We really appreciate you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone. Bye-bye.
So those are the heroes that we have in Congress. The people who fight to make sure that we actually have
Well
a
done
pathway to
taking
the
care
middle
of that
class.
situation.
That we actually have safe
Did you
workplaces.
guys
Because
figure something
at
out?
the end of the day, one life lost on the job is one life too many. And frankly, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, we have a really terrible situation in terms of the safety of our workplaces. It's not just COVID. 1 out of 5 workplaces in 2019 had workplace fatalities. The accounts of healthcare worker deaths in 2020 were nearly 4,000 people, and probably many, many more. And what we see is that there is a disproportionate number of people who are black and brown who are losing their jobs at work. We need to reverse this situation. Frankly, that is why OSHA was created 50 years ago, after work that our union and so many other unions did to try and make sure that workplaces were safe. OSHA was created 50 years ago. But in the Trump administration, it didn't do the job it was supposed to do. It didn't do the work we needed to do to actually make sure all workplaces were safe. And as a result, you have what you see on this wall. We filed many different OSHA complaints, and yet most of the time OSHA ignored us. And that's why we are so glad that there is a Secretary of Labor right now under the Biden administration who believes in workplace safety, who believes in changing these stats. And we have a President of the United States who has said that it's important to have a new emergency standard in terms of COVID relief. And we have Congresspeople like Congressman Raskin, like Congressman Joe Courtney, who are doing the work we need to do to make workplaces safe. Congressman Courtney just helped get passed in the House of Representatives a workplace violence bill that would help create a standard so that healthcare workers would have a standard of care and protection against workplace violence. These are the things that we need to remember and fight for on a day that we are honoring the people who have been lost because of workplace safety. So as we honor their memories, as we remember what Mother Jones told us, which is that we mourn for the dead, but we fight like hell for the living. This is a call to action to fight for everyone to have a safe workplace. Whether it's a school and we're fighting for a safe workplace for the educators and the education support personnel and the bus drivers, or fighting for a safe workplace and a safe learning condition for the students who are going back to in-person learning, or whether it's fighting for a safe workplace in a hospital or a nursing home or in a meatpacking facility, our job as the labor movement is to make sure that people who are going back to work in person, they don't have a pit in their stomach and they don't have to make a choice between the paycheck they need and the workplace safety they also need. We can do better in the United States, and this April 28th, let's remember and honor those we've loved and lost to COVID, to working and getting COVID while on the job. We need to honor them. We need to remember them. And we also need